Hey everybody, we've got a little bonus recovery video for you here. So I'm going to show you a few of my favorite yoga poses to do after a day on the mountain, and then a couple of my favorite recovery tools, both of which you can actually use prior to going out too if you like. Just make the yoga a little more dynamic than static, and then it's always great to foam roll before going out too if you've got the time. But today we're going to focus on that recovery. So starting out with some yoga, also if you've got some blocks, definitely keep them nearby. They can come in great here, especially if you're really tight after a day on the mountain. They just help you keep that in that alignment so you're stretching the proper part of your body there. So come into some cat-cows first, again, especially if it's been a little while since you've gotten off the mountain, been a few hours, you've cooled down a bit. It's nice to get a little movement in here first without too much pressure or impact. So with cat-cows, your hips are over the knees, shoulders are over the wrist. Turn those hands so the eye of the elbow is facing away from you, so those shoulder blades are flat on the back. Just moving with your breath here, you're gonna inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the gaze. And exhale, round, press into the mat, lift the back towards the sky. Inhale, drop the belly, lift up, feel the sit bones separate behind you. And exhale, round. Just move with your breath here. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, round. If you feel extra tight, you can take some circles with the hips. Just make sure you move in both directions there. And again, just keep your focus on the breath here. Always feel free to close the eyes and let yourself kind of sink in and focus. From this position here, I'm going to take it to downward facing dog. If you're unsure about how wide your down dog should be, a nice way to start to measure it out is to come into a plank to start. So same hand position where your hands are flat on the ground, the elbows are turned to face ahead of you there like headlights, legs are straight, and from that plank, you just press the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Now if it's really uncomfortable, you can adjust there. The heels can be lifted for sure. Then just bend the knees one at a time, loosening up. And then just find some stillness there, trying to create length from the hands all the way up through the spine and down the legs. From here, go ahead, lift one leg up to the sky. You can bend the knee and open that hip and roll that ankle out a few times. Just keep the weight even in both hands here. And straighten through that leg. Bring the knee towards the nose, step through, lower your back knee. You can uncurl the toes or keep them curled. And then if you have the blocks, you can bring them in and you can stay right here. If you feel good, you can then come up to the knees. And if you feel really good, you can bring those arms up to the sky. But if you're really tight in that hip flexor, you might want to just hang out with some support on the knee or down on the blocks. Let yourself take a few breaths here, and then we're gonna add a twist in. So you're gonna bring the opposite hand from that forward foot down to the ground. Lift the other hand up to the sky. And just let yourself twist open while sinking into that hip. Bring the hand back down. You're gonna curl the back toes, lift the knee, and sweep that front foot up and back. Nice big stretch, and set it down. And then lift through the other leg again, bend the knee, open the hip, roll out that foot a couple times each direction there in that ankle. Then straighten the leg, knee to nose, step it forward, lower the back knee. And again, going through those progressions, you might feel tighter on one side, perfectly normal, so you may not come up to the same height there. And just holding a few breaths in that low lunge, and then you'll take it down, open it up to that twist. Just try to keep it even on each side, where if you're gonna hold 3 breaths, 5 breaths, whatever it may be, try to go on a count like that. And then again, curl the toes, lift the back knee, sweep the leg up and back, and then release it to the ground. Then you're gonna go back to the other side. So that other leg's gonna lift up, knee to nose, step it through, lower the back knee. And from here, you're just gonna hinge the hips backwards, straightening your front leg. Blocks are definitely helpful for most of us here who have tight hamstrings. So I want you to keep your back knee or your back hip over that back knee and try to keep those hips square. So if you're really tight there, having nice tall blocks can really help keep you up tall here. Flex the front toes, and then you can start to bring it forward over that leg. And try and keep that back hip over the knee. Don't send your butt way back. And just breathe into it. Keep those toes flexed and toes towards the nose. After your few breaths, start to bend the front knee, put the foot back down. You might have to wiggle it back a little bit. Lift the back leg, sweep it back. Nice big stretch there. And switch sides. Lift up, step through. Start by lowering the knee in that low lunge-like position, and then just hinge it backwards. Lifting the balls of the feet up, stretching through those toes. Again, you can start out nice and tall, and then fold it forward. Again, blocks might be nice. You might start out with them and then move them to the side. Bring the foot down, lift the back knee, sweep it up and back. And we're back to the other side. Again, back to that right, lift the leg up. Step it through. You're gonna lower your back heel to the ground and come into a warrior one, or warrior two, sorry. So your back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat, front knee over the ankle. Bring your arms out wide, and you're just gonna bring elbow to knee and reach that left arm up and over. So it can be straight up to the sky, hands in opposite directions there, or reaching overhead. Important thing here is that the back foot keeps pressing into the ground, so you aren't putting all the weight just in that front leg. Keep the back leg activated, and if your core is feeling a little unstable, you can rest there on that thigh. Then from here, you'll come back up through the torso. You're just gonna straighten that front leg. You can bring the back foot in just slightly. Bring those hands back out wide, hinging forward like you're reaching with that hand, and then tip. So you've got straight lines through both legs now, and through both arms. If everything's good with the neck, you can look straight up at that top hand. Here you have a lot of extension, like I said, through both legs, and from the hips all the way through the shoulders, and then through each arm. With a strong core, come back up, put a bend in that front knee, sweep the hands down, you'll lift the back heel off, and step back. You can go through down dog in the center, lift it up, switch sides, left leg steps through, back heel down, heel to heel in that alignment. Rise up, warrior two, hands reach away, reach it forward, again elbow towards the knee. Maybe you straighten through both arms, maybe you reach overhead, but again, important point, activating that back leg. A few breaths, you bring it up, straighten through the front leg, walk that back foot in just a couple inches, and we go for that hinge. So you reach with that front hand, and when you can't reach anymore, you just tip. Hands reaching in opposite directions, both legs are active, and you should feel a nice stretch across that side body, that right side body there. Again, whatever's good for the neck, looking down, straight ahead, or up at the fingers. Brace that core, rise up, bend the knee, sweep the hands down, and sweep that leg up and back into your warrior two, or your down dog. Then you're gonna step both feet forward. And from here, just come up halfway to a nice flat back, and then fold it over. And a couple breaths there. Inhale, come up, flat back, gaze just forward, neck is long. Exhale, fold it. One more time, inhale, come up. Exhale, as you fold, you're gonna start to bend the knees and come into a squat, and you're gonna let the heels lift. So again, blocks might be good here because it's a little unstable. You can go a little bit wider too if you like, but we want those heels up because we're stretching through those toes there. It might be really intense, and if it is too intense, up like that, then you can bring the knees down, but keep the toes tucked. Even make sure that pinky toe is on the ground there, not just floating in space. And you can sit here like that. And it's probably gonna feel really intense because we don't stretch our toes out a lot. So either one there, just take about 10 breaths there if you can, because from there we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take it down. So what we're gonna do here, let's see, I'll kind of go from the side, is a cow facing pose but laying down. So cow facing can be great for the hips. So basically, let's lay it down. You're gonna lay it down on your back, bend the knees, lift the feet up. You're gonna cross your right knee over your left, just like you were sitting in a chair. How's it going? Then bring the knees towards the chest, grab on to those shins, right above the ankles, wherever you can. Flatten the back into the ground and just pull those legs towards you. So you don't have to pull too much. You should feel this on that outer hip of the top leg. And just giving little tugs. And trying to reach your tailbone down. So if your back is not completely flat on the ground, you're imagining uncurling that tail, flattening it out. As you hold here, you might be able to pull a little bit more, but try to keep that top knee right over the thigh. Then after those few breaths, you can bring those feet up, switch it around, reach for those shins, pull it in. Again, imagine that tail tucked in and uncurling. Relaxing through the shoulders, head is just rested on the ground. And then unwrapping, you can take it into a happy baby, grabbing for the outer edges of the feet, pulling on, bringing the knees in towards the armpit. Again, that untucking of the tail motion here, trying to flatten the back towards the ground. And really pulling down on those feet, keeping them flexed. You can really slowly let the feet come to the ground and just let those knees windshield wiper side to side. You can always hang out on either side for a little bit and let yourself come into a twist, turning the head the opposite direction of the knees. And of course you can always end in a shavasana, letting yourself just lay relaxed for a few minutes. And as far as recovery tools, some of my favorite here are massage balls. So I've got these cork balls here, a couple different sizes. And you can do this either before the yoga, after the yoga, before skiing, or after skiing. But these are great for our feet, especially in ski boots where there's a lot less movement available. And you can either sit down in a chair or stand up and rolling your feet out. Really thinking about starting like from your feet up, essentially. So you can do this with like a lacrosse ball. These cork balls are awesome. We've got some trigger points and whatnot at the shop. All of this in some form. The foam roller, we've got a Theragun here. And really rolling out through those arches for sure. Outer edges of the feet. And with rolling here, you want to think about once you find a really tender spot, you want to stop there and hold it for about 30 seconds. You're gonna let that actually sink into that really tight muscle. If we just keep rolling through it, it's not doing as good as it could if we just let it sit right there and do the magic and work out those tight muscles. With the massage balls too, you can do a lot of the same things you can with a foam roller. So rolling out the calves and just like working from the bottom up. So I kind of like using the balls in certain spots there. I feel like I can get a little bit better into the edges of my calf that sometimes I can't isolate as much on the roller. But otherwise you can always switch it out. Hands behind you. And you can keep one foot on the ground for support, or if you feel good and strong in the upper body, you can cross those legs, weighting it a little bit more. But be careful not to dump in the shoulders here, right? We want to maintain good alignment, so you want to be lifted up. And you can take that all the way, keep moving up, move into those hamstrings. Same situation, keep one leg down, one leg up. And then rolling it over to that IT band. Be careful not to get on the knee, right? You want to start, I actually like to start the IT band from up above, bringing it down. And again, totally unweighted or having a little support, especially if it's super tight. Just like with the cork ball, you find that really tight spot right there. Hold for about 30 seconds, then move a little bit up and hold there. Foam rollers are awesome because you can actually do some fun workouts with them too. Use them as something to squeeze to activate those inner thighs. You can get the back. Cork balls are great for that too. I like to put it up against a wall to really get into spots in my shoulder blade that I can't isolate that one spot as well on the foam roller. Be careful on the foam roller not to go on your low back there. You don't want to injure that at all. So be very careful when it comes to the low back. Up in the shoulders can be really nice. I like to put my hands behind my head for a little bit of support. And rolling to about mid back and up. And we can get really tight up in our lats too. So coming to the side, just like you would the IT band, raising your arm up and getting into that spot, and even just laying right there. Again, you don't have to roll, just let yourself sit. Sometimes just moving the arm can really change that point of pressure. And then one of my newest favorite tools is the Theragun Mini. So this thing, you can throw it in your bag, your ski bag, gym bag, whatever, to take it with you traveling. So you can either use it after a workout, after skiing, or like mid-skiing if like you've got some knots that are not going away. But my biggest thing with it is just the ease of travel when you go somewhere. I know that's all a little weird right now, but it's so awesome. I'm not packing my foam roller with me. Maybe I'm throwing in a massage ball, or a band, like to do some active warm-up and whatnot. But the Theragun, the Mini, especially when you just like don't really feel like rolling out, right? It is so good. You find those spots, just like you do with the roller or the ball. Hold it, let it do its thing, and just slowly move it around until you find those trigger points. So this thing is pretty new in their line. They're super quiet. They quieted down all of them, but the percussion therapy is amazing if you haven't tried it. We have them on the floor at the shop and you can demo them out. And I'll tell you one thing for sure too, they make a great Christmas present. And I'm excited to actually gift them to a couple people. All right guys, well that definitely concludes our whole program. We've got 4 workouts, the recovery, and you have access to these as long as you have the link. So keep using them, and we'll keep doing the snow dances. Okay you guys, I'll see you again soon, and enjoy.